The rain had started just after midnight, turning the streets of Manhattan slick with silver light. From the windows of her small apartment in Brooklyn, Gwen Stacy watched the city blur beneath the storm and told herself she didn't care whether Peter Parker came back. She had repeated that lie for 3 weeks. 3 weeks since he'd vanished without explanation. 3 weeks since he'd kissed her breathless in the hallway of her building, promised he would see her the next day, then disappeared as if the city had swallowed him whole. Gwen was smart enough to know something was wrong. She was angry enough not to ask. The knock on her door came at 12:43 a.m. She froze. Another knock, slower this time. When she opened it, Peter stood in the hallway drenched to the skin, dark hair plastered to his forehead, chest rising hard as if he'd run miles through the storm. And there was blood on his shirt. Her anger vanished so fast it made her dizzy. "Peter!" He tried to smile. It was weak and crooked and painful. "Hey." She stared at the stain spreading across the shoulder of his gray t-shirt. "What happened?" "Nothing serious." "That's not an answer." He looked past her into the apartment, avoiding her eyes. "Can I come in?" Gwen stepped aside. He entered quietly, bringing the smell of rain and cold air with him. Water dripped from his sleeves onto the hardwood floor. He stood in the center of her tiny living room like a man who wasn't sure he belonged there. Maybe he didn't. She crossed her arms. "You disappear for 3 weeks, show up after midnight covered in blood, and think, 'Can I come in?' fixes that?" "I know." "No, I don't think you do." Peter rubbed a hand over his face. Exhaustion dragged at every line of him. "Gwen, don't." Her voice shook despite her effort to steady it. "Don't say my name like it solves anything." For a second, he just looked at her. That was always the problem with Peter. He could say nothing at all and still make her feel too much. "You're mad," he said quietly. "I'm furious." "You should be." "And worried," she snapped, "which is worse." Something softened in his expression then. It almost made her angrier. She grabbed the first aid kit from the kitchen shelf and tossed it onto the couch beside him. "Sit." He obeyed. When she peeled back the fabric near his shoulder, she hissed. The cut was deep, but already beginning to close. Her hands paused. "That's new," she said. Peter glanced away. "Yeah, would have been useful to mention before. It's complicated. Everything with you is complicated." She cleaned the wound in silence. He flinched once when the alcohol touched raw skin. "Good," she said. "I deserved that. You deserve worse." "I know." The storm rattled the windows. Their apartment building groaned softly around them. Gwen tied the bandage too tight on purpose. Peter laughed under his breath. She glared at him. "What's funny?" "You missed me." Her mouth fell open. "Unbelievable." "You did." "I considered replacing you with a cactus." "Ouch." "At least a cactus knows how to stay in one place." That made him laugh for real, low and warm and unfairly charming. She hated how quickly it reached her. Then she noticed bruising along his ribs, fresh cuts on his knuckles, shadows under his eyes. He looked wrecked. Her anger shifted into something more dangerous, concern. "Peter," she said more softly, "what are you doing to yourself?" His smile faded. "You wouldn't understand. Try me." He looked at her then, really looked, and something in his face nearly broke her heart. "Every time I get close to something good," he said, "something bad follows. That's dramatic, even for you." "I'm serious. So am I." He stood too fast, pacing away from the couch. Restless energy filled the room like static. "You think I disappeared because I wanted to?" he asked. "Because I woke up and thought, yeah, let me ruin the best thing in my life." Gwen's breath caught. "Best thing in my life." Then anger rescued her again. "I think you made a choice," she said, "and you made it alone." Peter turned back sharply. "Because if I choose you, you get hurt. And if you don't choose me, I get hurt anyway." Silence slammed between them. Rain hammered the windows. Peter's jaw tightened. "You should stay away from me." "There it is," she laughed bitterly, "the noble self-sacrifice speech." "It's not a speech. It's cowardice." His eyes flashed. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Then tell me." "I can't. Won't." can't." She stepped closer until only inches separated them. "Do you know what hurts most?" she asked. "Not the lies, not the disappearing. It's that every time I start to matter to you, you run." Peter's breathing changed. She knew that look, the one where he was trying to hold himself together with sheer force. "I run," he said quietly, "because when I'm near you, I forget I'm supposed to." Her pulse stumbled. The room felt suddenly too small. "Peter!" "You make me forget the danger," he continued, voice low and rough. "You make me forget every reason I should stay away." She swallowed hard. "Maybe I like dangerous things." His gaze dropped to her mouth. "That," he said, "is exactly the problem." He should have stepped back. She should have. Neither of them moved. Gwen's hand lifted almost without permission, fingers brushing the line of his jaw. Rainwater still clung to his skin. He closed his eyes for 1 second, as if even that touch undid him. "You disappeared," she whispered. "I know. I hated you. I know. I missed you." His eyes opened. "Say that again?" he asked. "No. Gwen!" She leaned in just enough to make him feel it. "Make me." The sound he made was half laugh, half surrender. Then he kissed her. Hard. Weeks of anger, worry, hunger, and restraint collided in one breathless instant. She grabbed the front of his shirt, not caring about blood or rain or anything else. He backed her gently against the wall, hands braced beside her head like he needed something solid to keep from falling. He kissed like a man starved. She kissed him back like revenge. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Peter rested his forehead against hers. "This is a terrible idea," he murmured. "Then why are you smiling?" "Because I'm weak." "No," she said, tracing the edge of his collar. "You're mine." His eyes darkened. "That's a dangerous thing to say to me." "Good." He kissed her again, slower this time, deeper, until her knees nearly gave out. When he pulled back, she saw the conflict return to his face. And there it was, the wall again. She stepped away first. "No," she said. Peter blinked. "No? You don't get to kiss me like that and then retreat into mystery mode." A reluctant smile tugged at his mouth. "Mystery mode? You know exactly what I mean." He sobered. "Gwen, if there's danger, tell me. If you're scared, tell me. If you don't want this, tell me." Her voice softened. "But don't decide for me." He stared at her for a long moment. Then he said, "I want this." Simple words, they landed like thunder. She crossed her arms. "Try again with more detail." A breath of laughter escaped him. "I want you," he said, "constantly, in ways that are inconvenient and distracting and probably medically concerning." She smiled despite herself. He stepped closer. "I want to call you when something good happens," he continued. "I want to see you when something bad happens. I want to hear your voice when the city gets too loud." Her eyes burned suddenly. "I want to stop running," he said. "I just don't know how." That honesty was rarer than flowers, rarer than promises. She reached for his hand. "Then start badly," she said. "What?" "Start badly, stay awkward, be scared, be complicated." She laced her fingers through his. "Just stay." Something in him finally eased. He brought her hand to his lips and kissed her knuckles. "You make impossible things sound easy." "That's because you overthink everything." "True. And because," she added, tugging him closer by the shirt, "I'm smarter than you." "Debatable." "Incorrect." He laughed again, and God, she had missed that sound. The storm outside began to soften, rain fading into a steady hush. Peter glanced toward the window, then back at her. "I should go before sunrise." She narrowed her eyes. "Wrong answer." "I have responsibilities. You have bruised ribs. I heal fast. I can make new injuries." He considered that. "Fair point." She took his hand and led him toward the bedroom. His eyebrows lifted. "Gwen Stacy." "Relax," she said over her shoulder. "You're sleeping. You look like death in skinny jeans." "I was hoping for a warmer welcome." She turned in the doorway. "Keep talking and you get the couch." He grinned. 10 minutes later, he lay in her bed, bandaged shoulder exposed, hair still damp against the pillow. She sat beside him, pretending not to notice how domestic and dangerous this felt. He caught her wrist gently. "Stay until I fall asleep?" The vulnerability in the request undid her. She slipped under the blanket beside him. He curled toward her instinctively, one arm around her waist, face tucked against her neck like he'd always belonged there. Within minutes, his breathing deepened. Gwen lay awake longer, staring at the dim ceiling while dawn slowly threatened the edges of the room. Complicated, wounded, secretive, impossible Peter Parker. He was trouble. He was late-night apologies and bruised knuckles and kisses that made rational thought impossible. He was every warning sign. And when he tightened his hold on her, even in sleep, she smiled into the dark. Because some disasters felt exactly like destiny.